Body, mind, and spirit. What does that even mean? Well, today we're going to discuss the diagram that explains it, and also that it explains all human emotion and all human suffering, and that, by the way, maps out the path to inner peace. Go! Welcome to the I Am Podcast, where we answer all the questions about spirituality and inner peace that you ever wanted to ask, and where we learn about the secrets of humanity and divinity through a better understanding of both. And where we have some tea. This episode is part of the Body, Mind, Spirit 101 series. Body, Mind, Spirit 101 covers all the fundamentals we need, so to have a common vocabulary for all the future episodes. It's kind of the foundation for all the cool stuff to come. So, you've probably heard a lot of people throwing around the words body, mind, and spirit. It's all over the place. It's on TV and in yoga and meditation classes at the gym and even in the latest medical journals. But has anyone ever stopped to fully explain the body, mind, spirit model to you and how it works? And more importantly, has anyone ever explained to you why understanding the body, mind, spirit model is so darn important? Yeah, I know they haven't. Sorry about that. We're going to fix that right now, though. First, I'll give you the why you should care. What's so important about understanding anything about this body, mind, spirit thing in the first place? Well, the quick answer is that hidden within the body, mind, spirit model are the answers to the stuff you were told you weren't meant to understand. Life, death, God, why pain and suffering has to happen, where true happiness resides. Within the body, mind, spirit model are hidden the beautiful truths about your spiritual existence, not to mention the secrets to inner peace. In fact, if you want to know the big truth, the secrets to understanding God and the universe itself are hidden inside this little model. And if you think that's an outlandish claim, we discussed in the past episode how Christianity, Islam, and the Tao support that truth. And beyond those references, Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism through Kabbalah, the Native American religions, and most African religions all have deep undercurrents of discovering the secrets of the self as the way to understanding everything else. It was 600 BC when the great Taoist leader Lao Tzu said, "He who knows himself is enlightened." And even dating back to the ancient Greeks, the oracle at Delphi for the god Apollo had a main inscription, "Know thyself." Can one of the biggest commonly shared messages from most of the world's religions be wrong? Well, sure, it could be. Most certainly could be. But it's not. And that's why the body, mind, spirit model is so important. Because understanding it is part of the know thyself process. Because your human presence, you, only exists because of a partnership formed between the body, the mind, and the spirit. And understanding these components is the key to understanding not only yourself, but to unlocking the answers to the big questions. Why am I here? What does it all mean? How do I get rid of the pain and suffering in my life? And yes, I fully realize that no one has told you that the secrets to happiness and inner peace lie within you, unless of course you listen to Wayne Dyer, Eckhart Tolle, Michael Beckwith, Deepak Chopra, Marianne Williamson, Lao Tzu, Jesus. It's because most of the religious leaders of the world don't understand and can't teach these secrets that everyone in the world is still walking around blind, and why tons of spiritual leaders aren't pointing out that almost all the world's most influential spiritual luminaries were continually saying, "Look within," because they don't understand it. Well, you're going to understand it, and we're going to make the world a better place for it. Before we're done, the body, mind, spirit model is going to reveal everything there is to know about being human. You will fully understand, like you've never understood before, the secrets of life, love, and joy, and how to remove things like fear, anger, and sadness from your existence completely and forever. And no, I am not kidding. So I hope that satisfies the question to why you should be interested. So now let's actually take a look at the body, mind, spirit model and dig into some basics so that we can be working from the same definitions when we talk about this stuff in numerous future episodes. Basically speaking, the body, mind, spirit model is the best tool that we have to explain God's model of existence from a scientific perspective, including all of the intricacies of humanity and what it means to be human. Whoa, did I just use the words God and science in the same sentence? Why, yes. Yes, I think I did. The body, mind, spirit model is the place where science and spirituality meet and coexist happily. By the way, the individual components of the body, mind, and spirit are the three pieces that come together to create your human existence. Let's look at the body portion of the model. From a 50,000-foot view, our bodies are the biological component of our human existences. Many of us typically see our bodies as what makes us, because it's what we see when we look in the mirror. But in reality, that's not the whole story. When you look at the body from a more critical perspective, the body can actually be seen as a separate living entity with its own consciousness that lives independently of our control of it. We're going to hit that hard in a couple of episodes, but there's a lot of conscious activity going on inside the body that is not directly connected with our own consciousness. So this is part of the model where we'll look at things like the body's consciousness, like the body's intelligence, the decision-making capabilities of the body, the influences that the body has on the mind and that the mind can have on the body. We'll look at the body's creative capabilities, and we'll see how it changes based on the need to fulfill its own unique mission. The human body is designed to evolve slowly and adapt to the changing environment that allows us humans to survive in the constantly changing environment that is our planet. And by the way, you think God doesn't have a hand in evolution? The life force most commonly called God is the motivator behind evolution. Creation and constant recreation coexist, which is something we'll look at in future episodes. But getting back to the body, understanding more about the human body and its own consciousness and its own ability to create will allow you to have a better relationship with your body and will allow you to have a greater understanding of the awesome system that has been created for us to be able to have this human experience. We'll talk about the body in depth in later episodes, but there's a lot you don't know, spiritually speaking, about your body. Next, the mind is the interface between our bodies and our spirit, and is the experience of your brain being there. So our minds are very connected with our brains, but they're not the same thing. The brain is the body. Our minds are the experience of having a brain, and it creates the interface to the body. It perceives and helps create the thoughts, sights, sounds, and other perceptions that seem to create the universe around you. And it's a very complex component of your existence, and one we will cover in depth because of its capability to create pain, suffering, and negative emotions, and its propensity to block you from getting in touch with the spiritual component of your existence. It's in reviewing this part of the model that we're going to discuss the attachments of the human mind, and where we'll discuss the ego and why it basically influences everything that you do, and the relative valuation system and how conflict arises in the world because of it. And we'll introduce for the first time ever an accurate and working equation of emotion that explains in detail and is even able to predict human emotion. You guys are going to be the first people on the planet who finally get the true definitions of emotions and who understand the slow motion process of how they're created within the mind. That's huge. Emotions are the reason for all conflict, as we will discuss and prove. Regarding where your mind fits in with the search for your true self, spiritually speaking, your mind is also a separate entity from your true self. Although most of you would fight to the death arguing that your mind is your true self. It isn't. Which is why you need to learn more about your mind, because it's your mind that creates the illusions that distract you from the third and most important component of your existence. The spirit. The icon really doesn't do it justice, does it? Now, you're allowed to think I'm a big tease here, but I'm going to hold back the explanation of the spirit until such time that we've had a good foundation built to talk about it. This is the portion of your existence that you haven't discovered yet. Trust me, if you're listening to this, you haven't discovered it, but don't feel bad. 6 billion other people haven't discovered it either. And the spirit is the portion of your existence you're going to have to experience for yourself anyway, once we get all the other crap out of the way and show you the process of how to get there. And because it's an experiential thing, I can't just up and explain it to you. I can't hand you your inner discovery. So let it suffice to say for now that the spiritual energy that exists beyond your body and your mind is not only your true self, but when you get in touch with it, you won't have to seek anymore. Now, you might notice there are some lines that interconnect the components of the model. These are important because they help explain how the portions of the body, mind, spirit interact and influence each other. You might notice how there are close connections between the conscious mind and the body, or how body image feeds directly into ego, which then connects into the equation of emotion, which then creates emotions brought about by body image, or how there's a lack of connection between the spirit and everything else. We'll learn why all this stuff exists and how it all works and how we can change it in future episodes. Now, this may seem a little complex, but so is human life and human emotion. But trust that as we move forward, we're going to explain everything in no-nonsense detail so you can understand it like no other group of humans has ever understood it throughout the history of the world. And when you start to understand the intricacies of the body, mind, spirit, you'll not only understand how you work, but you'll understand how everyone else works also, which will allow you to have more harmonious relationships. You'll not only learn why it is you do everything that you do, but you'll also learn why your fellow humans do everything that they do, which will help raise your levels of compassion for your fellow humans. In short, it's the best tool we have to explain all of creation and how you personally fit into that big picture. So, to this week's homework, 2 small things. First, I want you to check out a book called A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. Now, Eckhart is one of the most enlightened beings on the planet, and I highly recommend any or all of his books. But I have to admit that I think for some people he winds up being a little difficult to read. But if you get the audiobook, you don't have to struggle with the text, and you get to listen to that wonderfully calming voice of his speaking the book to you. Now, I'm not suggesting this just because we're sponsored by Audible.com and that you can get A New Earth for free. I seriously think he's a dry read and that the audiobook is the only way to go. Sorry, Eckhart, you know I love you like a brother. So if you'd like to get a free copy of A New Earth in audiobook form, just go to audibletrial.com/IamSpirituality and sign up for the 14-day free trial, and you'll get a free audiobook of your choice. Support Audible because Audible helps us pay for the bandwidth for this free podcast for you. That's audibletrial.com/IamSpirituality if you'd like a free audiobook, which could be Eckhart Tolle's A New Earth. The second part of the homework is simple. Share this episode of the podcast on your Facebook page or through email, and or click the general share links from the blog site at IamSpirituality.com. If you wind up being one of these sharees who sees this for the first time, go back and check out the first couple of episodes. Then if you like, subscribe. And then share it yourself. And I know that may seem like a self-serving request, but we don't get a dime for subscriptions. But we do have a goal to help as many people as possible find inner peace. And the more people that subscribe, the more people we help. And the more the world gets a little better, a little bit at a time. And I definitely need your help spreading the word. Please click the share buttons. In the next episode, we're going to talk about the first couple of components in our body, mind, spirit model, the 3 banks of intelligence that you have at your disposal. You're going to be surprised at just how smart you are. See you next time. Peace.